Microsoft 365 in practice. Hey Darius, how have you been?
I've been on the edge of my seat since last week.
Oh, the pressure is on, but I think I should have an easy win this time. Building the SharePoint pages we're going to do today is fun and easy. And it's pretty easy to imagine a small company or nonprofit getting benefit from the tools we are about to demonstrate.
What kind of benefit?
Well, we know the most effective organizations, the ones that run efficiently and achieve their mandate well, maintain a high level of communication across the board. A lot of Microsoft 365 is designed to make that communication flow as smoothly as possible. And SharePoint, which we're looking at today, is the granddaddy of communication and collaboration. Let's get into it. What I want to show you first is how to create a communication site.
Let's do it, Jerry.
All right. Okay, here we are in the Lightlever sandbox. This is where I do a lot of testing and training. And we're going to go into SharePoint. We're going to create a communication site, which is the starting point for our SharePoint homepage. Notice up here we can create a site. The two main types of site we can create is a team site, which is used for having conversations with your team, or a communication site is the beautiful dynamic content to people in your organization. This is what you use for the homepage. There's a few reasons for that. And I'm just going to click. I'm going to call this my company homepage. It generates a site address for me, checks to see if it's available. The site description is a good idea to fill in. I'm going to leave it for now. So I'll click the edit button now, and we'll get into edit mode on this page. And I want to talk about the structure of these pages. So a page is organized by sections, and then sections have within them what's called web parts. So let me zoom out a little bit so you get a better sense of it. So at the top, there's a section that includes a web part, and this is called a hero web part. If I click anywhere in this web part, I want to point out to you this little menu that shows up on the left-hand side. There's a gray menu and a black menu. Once you use SharePoint Modern Pages for a little while, you'll get used to these menus. The gray one on the left is to edit the section or move it or duplicate it or delete it. So it's affecting the entire section. When I click in a web part and the little dark gray or black menu shows up, it's to edit the web part or move it or duplicate it or delete it. And if you can't remember those things, just hover over and the tooltips will remind you. But the key thing is to remember that you can click on something and the little menu shows up on the left-hand side. So similar down here for news, this is a news web part. I can edit it here. Or I can click over events as well and edit that, or documents. These are all web parts on our page. These web parts are in a separate section, and I've got a separate section menu over in the left-hand side here. So visualize those web parts as being building blocks. They live in sections, and that's how we create our SharePoint Modern Pages. So let's take a look at editing web parts. Let's start here. This is a hero web part. I can click on it, and then the little pencil to edit the web part is available to me, which I will click. So when I click to edit a web part, this window pane shows up in the right-hand side, and this is different for each web part. In this case, we're editing a hero web part, and we have some different ways to display it. Tiles or layers. I'm going to use the tiles for this one. Currently, it's set to 5 tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll set to 3 tiles. Notice now it's immediately changed. So most of these web parts are saving automatically as I'm editing. The hero web part is interesting as well in that each of the tiles on the web part are modifiable on their own. So for example, this one here, learn more about your communication site. I can click on that while I'm editing the hero web part, and I can edit details. Same pattern, you click on it and then you can edit. Same approach, a window pane shows up on the right-hand side, and now I can change various settings on this web part. I'm going to change the background image, and I will use a custom image. And this is a brand new setting here. The stock images is new. It just came out in the last couple of days in Microsoft 365. and it gives you all kinds of great images to use. Let me use the coffee beans here and insert that image into my web part. Zoom. So then when I'm finished, I can just close this window pane. And what I do frequently when I'm editing pages, I republish to see how it looks. So let's add some more things to our page. I'm going to go into edit mode again. Down here, each of these, as I said, we could edit them. But when I click on a web part, notice below the web part, there is a little plus sign, which is add a new web part in column 1. So if I click add a new web part, I get this list of different things I can add to my page. There is a lot here. Look, news and Kindle and images and that sort of thing. I'm going to add an image web part, an image gallery web part, and imagine that we have some images we want to put on our page. Before I publish the page, I'm going to add photos here. I can drag to add, so I have some available. So I'll just drag these pictures into my image gallery. So I'm just dragging and dropping from my computer. Then I can choose which ones I want to use. Maybe this one's too much clutter. This one doesn't really fit. Let's just leave it like that. So now I can republish the page and again, take a look at it. So we're gradually building up this site. Okay, so that's adding a web part. Let's take a look at adding a section as well. So I'm going to edit this page again. The section menu is on the left-hand side. There it is, sure enough. Now here I notice there's a plus sign that I can add a new section. One of the sections that is really useful is this vertical section. There's lots of different types of sections, and really they're organized by how they're laid out, right? So here's the vertical section. It's a vertical bar down the right-hand side of the window. So now it's there, and it's just sitting there waiting for me to put content in there. One of the things that we use a lot is a people web part. So, maybe these are the main contacts for this site. So in this people web part, the obvious thing is I can put names in this box. It's just waiting for me to insert them. So I'll put myself, and then let's say Darius is in here as well. Notice this is pulling from my Microsoft 365 profile, so it's got the same photo as I've got up in the top right. The events web part down here is now kind of down below the fold, as they say. I'd like to move it. So remember, if I click on a web part, I can move it with that little arrow. So I'm dragging with my mouse. I'm bringing it over to this right-hand column. And now I have it in the right-hand column. Again, let's republish to take a look at it. So remember, this is a company homepage. So these big links at the top would link to some additional pages or information. We've got our contacts, update our events, company news, etc. So you can see how this is coming together. I'm going to add some news articles just so you get a sense of it. So I can add a link to a news article here. This is kind of an interesting feature. So let me just grab a hyperlink over here and paste it in here. What this does is allows me to publish news to my entire company. So here's a news article. It's just a web page. I've just grabbed this. I looked for Googled good news. And now the news, I'll put one more in here. So now we're creating some content that's posting, and this will show up here on our page. The site is coming together quite well. I just want to show one more thing. Notice we're not using the events calendar here yet, so let's remove it. So again, I'll edit the page, and I can go in and click to edit this web part, and I can delete that web part. Before I republish, now just for better styling, I'm going to move the staff photos over here. So it's just a better layout. Here's our site for our company. What do you think, Darius? This might be useful.
Looks very nice. Very, very easy and intuitive.
So now we're going to get into some styling of the site, changing some of the colors and some of the layouts. So let's take a look at that. So up here at the gear, the cog in the top right, you'll see there is a change the look option. And the colors are under something called theme. So I can select theme, and maybe I want a purple looking site. That's not as dramatic as if I were to change the look here now to theme. Let me use one of these dark themes, dark yellow.
Oh,
Okay, so that kind of pops more. I like the dark themes a lot myself. They don't project as well, so if you're showing your site on a projector screen, you may not want to choose a dark theme, but let's go with that for now. I'll go for dark blue, actually, and save. Under site information, I can change this logo. So I have a logo on my computer that I'm going to upload. It's just one of my light lever light bulbs. So let me just grab that from my computer here. And here it is. And I'm going to open that and save. Looks like we're good to go. There we go. Now we have a logo also. I want to also change the way some of the styling is on the page. So I'll show you that. We can change the background color in some of the sections. For example, let's say we want this lower section to really stand out. So we can click in the section and edit this, and then we can change the section background to something that's more neutral or softer or a strong, really popping out type of look. And then again, republish to see what it looks like. So the last thing I'll show you in the coloring and styling is changing this top menu. Notice there's an edit button here. If I don't have permissions to do so, the edit button doesn't show up, so I'll click edit. I can click to add a new link in here, or I can delete these. Like for example, the pages, well, that's just for the site designers and the administrators. I don't need everybody having quick access to the pages. I can remove that. Maybe I want to have another link in here. So I can link to anything I want. Usually it's to something on the site. Let's say I want to go to my document library. Maybe this folder is something I want people to have quick access to. So I can copy the address of this folder. I'll just click in the URL and Control-C to copy it, or right-click copy, whichever your preference is. I can go back here, and now let's just create a new link with that plus sign. Notice I can choose a link or a label. And the address is what I just copied, Control-V to paste. And the display name will be subfolder. I'll save again just to see how it looks. So see how it's coming together like this. But actually, because that's a folder under documents, I want to make it a subfolder within documents. So watch this. Boop. Make sublink. So it's sub to the thing above it. So now we've got a pull down menu. Now I want to talk about one more subject, and that's the home pages and hub sites. So to do this, I'm going to go into the SharePoint administration section. Again, what we're doing here, you need to have the privileges. This is something that's not done by everybody. It's done by the administrators. That we're building the site for the first time, and then your people will be using it over and over time, right? So it's the administrator that's doing this, or a consultant, or whomever, the people with the expertise. So the same people that will have access to the admin panel, depending on your permission. I'm going to go down into the SharePoint Administration Center. And what I want to show you is if I wanted to make this page my home page, I can go into the sites here. So this active site section lists all of the sites that I have available to me in Microsoft 365. And there is a top level site. It's the one that looks like this. Notice all the other ones go ... sites. Here's the top level one, https://lightlever.sharepoint.com. If I click on that one, I can replace site. And so when I replace site, I can put that new site, the URL of the site I just created goes in here, and this becomes my company homepage. Then notice here's my company homepage, the one I just created. So I'll select that. So there's some different settings, like I can change the name and the URL and such. And one of them is this hub site association. Hub sites are an important concept. And if I want to have many sites that have a similar look, like that styling we did, and share a top menu, share some news, share some documents and such, so I can register it as a hub site. And then any other SharePoint sites I create, I can associate with that hub, and they inherit some settings from that hub site. There's a lot of writing on the internet about hub sites. It's an exciting improvement in Microsoft 365. So I won't go into more detail than that. Darius, that is a quick overview of creating a simple homepage for our company Intranet using Microsoft 365. What do you think about the tool now?
I'm thinking that it was definitely worth the wait.
When we're doing this for real life, naturally we would be thinking a lot more about the layout and what we need and the documents and all that. There'd be some design that goes into it, some thought, some planning. We didn't do that this time. We just dived in to just demonstrate the tools as opposed to the process behind it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but now I'm curious as to how we do that.
Well, I've got a book on the topic called SharePoint in Practice that goes through the whole process that I follow to design exactly that, a corporate intranet, how to engage people, how to design the site, and a bunch of neat little things you can build, like a contact list and a timesheet and a policy and procedure manual. They're all described in the book. The thing that gets me excited is that when you've got your Microsoft 365 subscription for whatever $15 per user per month, you can build that SharePoint homepage or any number of other pages and sites really quickly and easily. And that's what we've just done. So that's one of your standard tools out of the Microsoft 365 toolbox, SharePoint. Let's leave it there for now. We'll come back next week with a video on Microsoft Stream, which is kind of like the YouTube of your Microsoft 365 tenant. So you get to have your own video streaming service built right into 365.
YouTube. Looks like it's back at the edge of the seat for me, Jerry.
Yes.
Until next time.
Awesome. Thank you, Darius.
Thanks.
Bye for now. Hey, I'm Jerry Brimacombe, and this has been another episode of Microsoft 365 in Practice. Please let me know if you have any questions, and your comments and subscriptions are welcome. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Yes, it is. Are you implying that I'm putting people to sleep?
No, I'm implying that I have to drink a lot of coffee.
Right.